I've been working in data analytics for probably over 20 years now. I'm the data analytics practice leader in Cyper, a Microsoft partner. Today, I'm going to be covering, as part of this webinar, a case study on how we created business insights and automated a lot of reporting across one of our customers' multiple data sources. So in terms of agenda, we're looking at the business data landscape, obviously specific to a recent wholesale and distribution customer, but there's some common themes we see across a number of businesses. Looking at the solution and timeline, and overview of how we typically approach solving some common business data challenges, and an indicative time this takes. Take a look at some of the benefits that our customer realised through data analytics and enhanced reporting, then kick in to a live demo. We want to spend the majority of the session, because that's the interesting bit, and then open the floor up to any Q&A. Obviously, within Teams, you can put your hand up if you've got a question. You can type a question into the chat on this meeting if you want. So I'll answer those at the end, or if it's a question that needs a bit more of a detailed response, I'll reach out independently. So, in terms of business data landscape, our recent customer had their data across multiple systems. A common theme across a lot of businesses that we interact with. In this case, the supply chain and financial data was in ERP, CRM and service desk held customer data between them, some enriched, some not, and of course we had the obligatory off-system Excel spreadsheets. So all of those data sources feeding into a huge amount of manual data processes. So taking lists out of their line of business systems, or copying or manually typing data into reports, joining all that data together in the same way, time after time after time, really manual data process. The buying processes meant that they had limited reporting options as well. Kind of my stock line here is that nobody makes decisions based on 100,000 lines of data. Limited visualization within our customers' traditional reporting approach, and where they did have aggregated data, there was no way to break that out to the underlying detail, so that they were left with a series of measures that they really didn't know how to interpret or gain insight from. So that was really how we saw their data landscape when we started interacting with our customer. In terms of the engagement timeline, we wanted to provide value back to our customer as early as possible. So we did a really short, sharp strategy and advisory piece where we got everyone into a room, got an understanding of what they wanted to gain from their data, how they wanted to interact with the reports, how frequently they needed data refreshed, etc. That all formed part of a high-level reporting strategy, which we then carried through for the rest of the project. Week 2 was a bit more detailed discovery, where we started understanding their detailed reporting requirements. That allowed us to flesh out a detailed project plan, and then that gave us a list of things that we needed to do over the next few weeks. And over the next 6 weeks, we executed 2 sets of 3-week build phases. Gave them a full data platform with a combined business model covering all of their data sources, and probably 25 to 30 reports, providing them a suite of analytics covering all of their business processes. So a really short, sharp 8-week project got them from virtually nothing in terms of automated reporting to a fully automated technical solution, providing insight and analytics back to the business. Really nice short piece of work. In terms of benefits that our customer got from and hopefully you'll see some kind of common themes here with the organisations that you guys work in. What they didn't have before we started this engagement was any type of timely insight that could drive action. By the time we'd finished the implementation, they were on a near real-time feed of data from their operational systems into the data platform that allowed these guys to really start to make data-driven decisions that drove action within their businesses. One example of this is a near real-time, on-time, in full KPI. The on-time aspect of that driving action from one set of managers, from the in full aspect of that KPI driving action within another department. The organisation was really receptive to us implementing a KPI hierarchy there, so we were able to give them some high-level measures and break those down into some lower-level measures that they could drive action from. So really receptive to that type of process change through being able to make decisions from their data. The obvious one in this case, with such an amount of manual processing, the removal of all that activity saved approximately 10 man days per month, time that can be better spent doing more valuable activity than crunching numbers into a particular format on an ongoing basis. So that was a real win for them as well. I guess the final one I want to cover here was the enhanced business insight that customer was able to get based on a single view of data across all of their operational systems. It's the first time that they've been able to successfully combine all of their customer data from ERP, from CRM, from service desk, and understand their customer a lot better through interpretation of data using data visualization. So enhanced business insight was a really good benefit for the customer. I'm going to move on to a couple of shots of the key deliverables that we provided for our customer. They were decent enough to allow me to use some of their data here. I've anonymized it where I was asked to. The first one, our customer is in the fast-paced consumer goods business. Margin is key to those guys. A key benefit of the implementation that we worked with them on was providing the organisation with a deep insight into how their margin differed across all relevant kind of categories within their data. So we provided analysis of. We provided them kind of near real-time analysis of margin across the product categories, their buyer categories, their channels. One that's not on here, but we also incorporated was supplier. So this was an area where they could understand where they needed to potentially look to increase a margin, where they could potentially decrease a margin. So they had all the data at their fingertips to be able to make really informed decisions about their product by product margins. Next one was supplier performance. So again, another key deliverable for these guys was they were going into negotiations with their suppliers with little or no information about how their suppliers were performing, were they fulfilling their orders, what was their potential, how much cancelled lines were they getting across their purchase orders, how much were they having to go out to market to fulfill orders that their suppliers couldn't deliver. So again, another area where they were keen to get visualization in to help them was to try and understand, both on a revenue basis and a volume basis, how their suppliers were performing. So they'll have some good performing suppliers, they'll have some not so good performing suppliers, but actually then what they were able to get was a standardized view that they could filter for a supplier and understand where their supplier was good, where their supplier was weak, and bring that to the negotiating table to help form part of their negotiation strategy with their suppliers. So another key benefit for them. As I always like to do, I'm going to kick into a live demo here. Screenshots are all well and good, but actually the power of data analytics can best be seen by kind of running a live demo. So just let me switch screens a moment. Hopefully you can see that. Shout if you can't. As part of the webinar today, we discussed a number of areas where our customer realized benefits from data visualization. Wanted to show you via this live demo how some advanced capabilities of Power BI were used at our customer to gain insight around their sales process, predominantly driving focused marketing activity. So this particular sales analytics dashboard combined data from multiple sources. So sales orders got brought in from ERP, the enriched customer data came in from CRM, and they had target data coming in from off-system spreadsheets. So a good example of how we were able to leverage data from 3 disparate systems in a single set of visualizations. I guess the other key thing to note as we move through this through these screens is that this set of analytics brings together kind of traditional reporting, analytics, and what-if analysis in a single platform. We wanted to modernize the customer's approach to reporting and bring the benefits that self-serve or speed of thought analytics could give them. What-if modeling and traditional reporting alongside those advanced analytical capabilities. So this is that's the area that this demo will be centered on. The customer was kind enough to provide me with some anonymized line level data for this demo, so I'll run through it now. We've got 4 pages along this report. We've got a fairly standard analytics dashboard here. I'll show you some of the insights that the customer was able to get from their data using this dashboard. Wanted to introduce a bit more around advanced analytics, so introduce some of the AI capabilities that we provided to the client, and also delve in a bit more into the what-if modeling capabilities that the client was really keen on. So general analytics first up. We've got a set of visualizations here. Our customer wanted to gain insight into the types of products that are popular across various regions. So with just a handful of visualizations, we're able to navigate the entire data set at, again, the speed of thought to get an understanding of the proportionality across their data. We can hover over a specific region within this visualization, see the breakdown of product category across the specific product categories as per that region. We can do that for all of the regions as well. Midlands. If I wanted to then focus in on a particular region, I could click on the Northwest and it would filter and show me the individual component parts of that overall revenue number that were contributed from the Northwest. We can see that the highlighted parts of this chart, again, if we can hover over again, we can see that their most popular products in the licensed category were these certain products. So it gives us a really good high level view that we can tailor and the user can interact with to get a rich understanding of their data. You can see that in the Northwest, we've got 21 customers in this data set, which represents 5% of their sales. 21 is 5% of their customers, so pretty natural. But actually, they're spending more money on fewer orders, so they've got a higher average value than other areas. So, really quick to get a really deep understanding of their data just from some fairly straightforward visuals and some hover over capability within this report. If I drill down a little bit more into territory analytics, we can target here a different territory. Let's focus on the Southwest here. We get revenue measures by various categories. We wanted to, understand their performance against targets. So they had targets at a number of levels, both regional and targets for some of the larger customers as well. And what this wanted to show on this page was really the additional benefits that Power BI in this case brings from an AI perspective. So this visualization down at the bottom is currently blank intentionally because I wanted to build it up as part of this demo, much the same as a user might build it up when they're trying to analyze some of their data to try and gain additional insight. So we can, what this visualization allows me to do is click on there, select high value, and that will show me the area within the data set that's got the biggest impact on that sales amount GBP number. So what we can see is, that the retail channel is got the biggest impact on that number. So rather than me selecting channel to view, which I equally could have done, Power BI has gone away and made some decisions for us based on interrogation of the entire data set to look at what the biggest impact on that figure is based on our data that we've selected for Southwest in 2021. I can do that again. So if I look at the next biggest impact, it's the tobacco category. If I look at the next biggest impact, it's the group customer. And I look at the next biggest impact, it's specific items within that category. Obviously, vaping equipment's doing particularly well in the Southwest for this particular group customer. So again, with the speed of thought, Power BI allows us to click through, making selections as we go, driving the insight to understand our data better. Next up, I'm conscious I've only got 3 minutes left, so whistle stop tour these last two. Customer analytics. Again, you'll see that we've got some fairly standard visualization here. Their revenue over time, some KPIs which show us the current value against target for this customer for both revenue and number of orders. So we're a little bit up on revenue, a little bit down on number of orders. Overall, by reporting category, hovering over again gives us that breakdown of the lower level of granularity. What I really wanted to show you on this page was the Q&A capability of the analytics that we deliver for this customer. So you can think of this like Google for your data set, really. If I could type in sales amount GBP and it would tell me the sales amount GBP. I could type in the sales amount GBP for the licensed. It would show me that sales amount GBP as well. Okay, I want to look at that by item. Show me that by item, and I want to look at it by financial monthly. So again, just by typing natural language search, we can start to interact with our data in a much more meaningful way, much the same as you would search for something on Google. You can search for something within your data. Power BI is clever enough that it can add synonyms in as well. So if I've done mine on here on sales amount GBP, we could tell Power BI that we wanted to do the same on revenue and have it calculate the same numbers. So lots of different options for Q&A, so natural language search on your data set. I guess last but not least, what we've got is something that the customer wanted to explore, and this was the first kind of foray into this type of modeling for them. They wanted to explore the what-if capabilities here, so they wanted to try and understand whether the data could give them a steer on where to focus their marketing activity. This is one of a number of models that we ended up building for their sales team, where they got to understand the overall effect of a sales increase, so the revenue numbers on an overall basis, by a region, or indeed by product category. So in terms of capability, how this works is I can move this slider up and down to say what happens if I apply a 20% sales increase. Okay, if I apply it across the board, naturally it applies an overall 20% sales increase. That's what it looks like on a chart basis. But actually, if I wanted to look at what does that 20% sales increase look like if I just apply that to the Southwest? Okay, 20% sales increase in the Southwest represents a 5% overall sales increase. We can see how that tracks across time in this chart below. And what if I wanted to look at a specific category within the Southwest as well? So grocery, okay, 1.75% increase. If I increase grocery sales in the Southwest by 20%, that gives me just shy of 2% overall increase. So this was really revolutionary for these guys. It allowed them to focus their marketing activity. And what it did was it opened their eyes to the capabilities of what they can do with this type of modeling within Power BI. And ended up, they started asking us to get involved in their, one for margin. So if they increased or decreased their margin on a specific product range, how would that affect their overall revenue numbers and overall gross profit? So it was a really good start of the conversation to get those guys interested.